Hello, everyone. Welcome to the epic finale of Triton Cup 55. I'm, of course, joined here by the amazing Chili Boy, and we have two incredible teams. We have 1600 Vbucks and Gimmick Propaganda. Both teams have showed incredible strength in this tournament, and now, Majora, shut up, and now we are gonna get into things very soon. Chili, how are you feeling about this finale?
I mean, first of all, I didn't know you could make those noises when you speak, so that was very interesting. Yeah, I'm feeling great, dude. I'm feeling so much appreciation for this game right now. I think the sets have just been so entertaining tonight. The compositions we've seen, the people's ability to adapt to really challenging situations and show that no game is truly over until that timer reaches 0. I will just start linking this tournament VOD to anyone that says Splat Zones is boring, because this has been anything but boring. This has been such a good tournament. Of course, we've got Gimmick Propaganda, who, it's just been such a pleasure watching them tonight. They're 4-weapon specialists. We've got Vanilla Slosher, Dually Scorcher user, Tentabrella, not joking, and ZNF Splatterscope that occasionally switches to Squiffer. So yeah, you can't get any more kind of creative than that really right now. And of course, 1600 V-Bucks have had an incredible showing. They were 1500 V-Bucks, but they have powered up clearly, and it has got them back to a grand final set. So yeah, just coming back off an incredible clutch overtime game 5 against Papas Fritas. So yeah, I'm feeling brilliant. How are you feeling?
I'm also feeling really out of my mind. This has been such a great tournament, and especially with Gimmick Propaganda, it has shown how dedicated players can adapt to the meta, and it has just shown me that when you're dedicated to like one weapon you're playing, keep at it. Like, don't stop the weapon just because it isn't meta. Like, I've seen so much negativity on Twitter, like, if you don't use that freaking the weapon, then you're throwing. I'm like, why? Just use the weapon you want to use, honestly.
I think that's tilt talking a lot of the time, man, isn't it? In solo queue. I mean, first and foremost, do remember this is a game. The point is to have fun, and Gimmick Propaganda have shown that you can have fun while still also being incredibly threatening to go against. So Q opting for the ballpoint spatling. We've seen a lot of that tonight. Very, very strong weapon. Max, 2 of Gimmick Propaganda going down incredibly quickly. So Vbucks not wasting any time. Probably coming off really hot off that Papas Fritas game, but really strong initial showing by Vbucks. So they have the numbers advantage. They have managed to get the zone. They are 2 up again, looking really, really strong here, and immediately putting Gimmick Propaganda on the back foot. This is, really impressive stuff.
Yeah, like, this opening has been really strong off the start. Like, 1600 V-Bucks had some good special power. Like, we just saw the crab tank, we saw the Weaver, and we saw the good old fall off potential of that machine. They just got 2 picks in a row, which was really incredible, and they just jumped to like a person 5 meters next to them. That was questionable, but I'm gonna leave them at that. And we see Miku being a really aggressive Inkjet. Also, at the beginning, we just saw an Inkjet kind of fight. It was a draw, and Miku gets picked off by that beautiful bomb. But I feel like, that beautiful pick by that 10, it just shows that Shadow is such a good 10 player, honestly. Like, they have the talent. They deserve that this weapon is good at some point. I hope it's good at some point in this game.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine how good Shadow would be if they were playing like a viable weapon right now?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the Tentabrella does play a very specific function for the team, which allows their offensive players to push very deeply and much safer than they would, without that giant shield. And look at it in action right now. Look how deep Gimmick Propaganda have managed to get. Despite that really rough start, they're very, very deep in Vbucks' side here. Fantar doing what they can to apply some brilliant pressure again, managing to slowly whittle their way back down and try and trap the Squelchers, but they're struggling to reclaim here. The timer is still ticking. It's 3 apiece, and if they're not careful, Gimmick Propaganda could take the lead here. So Fanta trying to do what they can now, getting out that Booyah Bomb, but the timer is still in Propaganda's favor. This is really scary. I don't know how they managed to come back so casually from such scary openings, and with 3 down, I think Gimmick Propaganda are going to take this game.
Yeah, like, honestly, this is so so sick. Like, Gimmick Propaganda has such a good talent of locking their enemies out of mid. Like, even if they're in a tight situation where the team has already pushed into mid, they can adapt fully to that playstyle and use it to their advantage. And they can just pick off everyone that gets in their way. This is just absolutely insane gameplay. Chili, like, help me.
I mean, yeah, I thought 1600 V-Bucks, they opened incredibly strong. They did seem to have awareness that, you know, they needed to get that zone under control. And I think, you know, they were trying, you know, Fanta did use their Booyah Bomb to try and support a cap. But I think this is one thing we have seen a lot from Gimmick Propaganda. They are so good at getting penalties and they're so good at holding zone. There's been so many times this tournament where Gimmick Propaganda, they've been at a numbers disadvantage, which on paper should mean a paint disadvantage and loss of objective, and yet they managed to hold objective. They just managed to throw out enough hitboxes and secure the area enough to hold, and it's really adding up in kind of deciding these games, or, you know, stopping V-Bucks there. Getting a penalty meant that game was much quicker than it otherwise could have been. So yeah, very strong start from Gimmick Propaganda despite V-Bucks' opening, but we've seen time and time again tonight how strong V-Bucks are and how you can never count them out until they're out, and I'm going to hold faith that they've got a few more games in them yet.
And as we speak, Zones Mahi, we have seen this before. It's very interesting. It's very fight heavy as well. And it's hard to cap the freaking zone. Like, it's just such a back and forth, honestly. But it's always great to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's chaos. It's I think we've seen so many games on Mahi tonight where it's just recap zone, recap zone, recap zone, recap zone. It's just alternating like every 15-20 seconds. No,
Yeah,
that's not hyperbole.
right.
It probably is about it probably is about that chaotic. Of course, that there was a few games earlier. I think we saw this exact set, didn't we? Before this exact map with these two teams, and if I remember, 1600 V-Bucks clutched it, but they suffered trying to clutch it because of how much Gimmick Propaganda was getting like recaps in just absurd situations. So be interesting to see how both teams adapt to that. We're gonna probably see minimal switch up here, but let's just have a gander, because I think Q went Squiffer here last time. They've gone for ballpoint, understandably, and we're seeing the ZNF from V-Bucks, which is a good choice too.
Also, Forge Splattershot Pro, interesting pick. And also they swapped out their machine for their V-Slosher for a machine, which is also a little bit more meta heavy, but I can totally understand that. The stakes are high, Chili. The stakes are high.
They are indeed, and I think possibly spooked by how well V-Bucks opened. But look at this. It's been 22 seconds and there's already a full wipeout. Jared so deep with the pro already. No fear at all, not just sitting back as a midline, just playing so much pressure into spawn. And again, this is what Shadow does with the Tentabrella, just creates openings that shouldn't really be viable between the Tentabrella and the kind of ink vac. So this is scary for V-Bucks. They're on the back foot. They have had 2 down though, so these ink strikes should on paper allow for a cap against any other team, and they have managed to get one, so that's going to give them some breathing room.
Yeah, I mean, Gimmick Propaganda, but they have a lot of control right now. It's still really lockout heavy, in my opinion. Oh, that Zekofin charger. Oh, but that TED counter was just beautiful. Like, it's really neutral right now. I mean, Gimmick Propaganda does have the zone right now, but it seems like 1600 V-Bucks does not have that at all, and they just won. Oh my god, that was sneaky. But that reaction time from Shadow. Like, did you see that? They were behind him and they just immediately flicked. That was
180 no scope. Yeah. I think that was V-Bucks' best bet at stopping that ink vac causing a problem. I think the trade was the best thing Shadow could have done in that circumstance, and it worked out well. Miku doing their best here to pressurize this jet, but struggling under the circumstances. V-Bucks holding quite nicely here. They did have a numbers advantage. I spoke too soon. It's now an even keel, but the map looking very, very blue. This is kind of what happened last time, and V-Bucks managed to hold, but Gimmick Propaganda is so scary and so good at capping. At the moment, V-Bucks, they're trying to get the lead, but they're 2 players down. They are going to manage to get the lead, but I'm not confident they'll hold it for very long based on the fact that Gimmick Propaganda had more players on the map.
Also, I just think intentional drop off the map. We just saw the Zekofin charger being kind of pressured by a Shadow's Inkback, so I think that was a decision to jump off the map. Because I feel like at that situation they just couldn't do anything, so they just decided to jump off the map. Very interesting though, I've never seen it kind of being tactically used. And we see Shadow kind of pressurizing Acer and getting an absolutely beautiful kill at them. And just like this, Gimmick Propaganda has returned to its former glory, and they have the lead right now.
I mean, they're looking terrifying here. They do not want this to go to a bracket reset. I feel like they want this to end, and they're pulling out all the stops to kind of make it happen. Nice strikes by Miku. It is going to allow them to get a penalty, which is needed. Beautiful snipe on Shadow as well. And yeah, in terms of the kind of tactical jumping off the map, I've seen it before to deny kills through Respawn Punisher, but I haven't seen it in a situation like that where maybe it just feels more efficient because they're trapped otherwise. But yeah, that's the big brain gameplay. That's why I don't play at this competitive level and these teams do, because they're on a kind of 4D plane. Looks like Gimmick Propaganda are going to get the recap. This has been really messy though. Q is the only one alive, and Vbucks should reclaim really quick here, but it is hard to hold on Mahi, and they've got quite a penalty to wear down if they want to take the lead. So this could be anybody's game. I'm quite nervous for Vbucks right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just a scenario where anything could happen, especially on an unpredictable map like Mahi. Like, we just see there is so much aggression going on right now on the side of Gimmick Propaganda. They immediately went back to having a lot of control. They just spaced out their enemies so well. We just see the Ink tank, the Inkback kind of countering the Crab tank. And there's a lot of just death involved in this right now. We see the Slushin being kind of pressured by a Shadow, but they do get Shadow in the end. And it's just a back and forth again. Like, 1600 Vbucks has a number advantage, so now they actually got the recap. This is so insane, chilly. Like, everything is happening in such a fast pace. There's literally a recap every 15 seconds.
Yeah, the Vbucks are doing a really good job of getting a recap, but they are really struggling to hold. Gimmick Propaganda are so good regardless of the situation, managing to get those penalties, and it's just so many times we see Vbucks about to work through their penalty just for Gimmick Propaganda to give them another one. There's 20 seconds on the clock, and they do have a 2-player advantage and control of the zone. This is going to be their best shot. They have to hold for about 30 seconds-ish in total if you factor in the penalty. That's quite bad maths. I think it was more like 25, but this is their best chance. They have a numbers advantage. There's 4 seconds on the clock. They are purely down to holding the zone now. The Booyah Bomb is going to try and snatch control of the zone. They have to hold for 4 seconds. They have a plays advantage. I think they're going to take this game. They are 1-1. Huge game for Vbucks in terms of starting to swing momentum back into their favor. Very, very different game psychologically when you are 1-1 as opposed to being 0-2 down. We've got a fight on our hands here, Spy, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Yeah, and I feel like right now we just saw the nature of the paint-heavy comp that 1600 Vbucks is running. I mean, we saw the tent on the side of Gimmick Propaganda, which isn't really a paint-heavy weapon. And I feel like this just gave 1600 Vbucks a big advantage in this really, really stressful situation where both teams just had to shoot the freaking zone.
Definitely. We've got Majora in chat. Definitely got adrenaline for another reason. It's because they bet on Vbucks and they're hoping for a fat payout. So, Majora, curb that gambling habit, yeah? Be here for entertainment first and foremost. But yeah, no, really, really good game, and you know, I agree, Septillion, to a point. The Tentabrella isn't, you know, maybe as bugged as people say, but I think the combination of the fact that, you know, the Brellas in general do not work in this game as they should, fully as intended, combined with you know, some of the netcode problems we sometimes see. I guess it is fair to say it's an uphill battle to use the Tentabrella at the moment, and I think Shadow shows that battle can be overcome with a well-coordinated squad and good fundamentals, but it's still just a very, very impressive feat to play consistently at this level with that weapon in its current form. We're going to Brinewater Springs now, Spy. I think you have thoughts on this map, so I'm going to hand over to you.
I mean, it's not as bad, but I still do not like it. It's just, I'm not a big fan of maps that are just way too small. I mean, there is Umami, but I actually like Umami because I feel like it's just a lot more open. And I feel like I might like the new Barnacles and Dime more than this as well, even though it's also just Brinewater 3. But it's just kind of a weird case. I feel like I feel like Nintendo's move is just always trying to improve Brinewater, but at a different theme. Like, this is just kind of the feeling that I'm getting from these 3 maps.
I wonder how many Brinewaters we'll have by the end of Splatoon 3's lifespan, eh?
I hope it stays at 3rd.
Shadowwind wasting no time here. Very, very aggressive opening. It has backfired. Vbucks are managing to get 2 players in first cap. We are seeing Gimmick Propaganda stick with the Splattershot Pro, so the Pro hasn't come out all tournament before this set, and now we're seeing quite a lot of it. So Jared, I think, finding the Booyah Bomb useful. It is supporting a cap there. They're trying their best to get a cap, but Vbucks doing a really good job of holding this time, or at least maintaining neutrality. They are going to get a cap now, but are going to lose a player. So Vbucks actually looking quite strong here, despite this being Propaganda's counter pick.
Yeah, and we see the 10 being a little bit suppressed right now, but they do get the kill with the ink back, which was impressive considering how bad the special is right now. And Gimmick Propaganda wasting no time, immediately getting into things, getting into the base of the other team, getting some source of oppression. And I feel like Gimmick Propaganda really wanted to use that to their advantage. We see the 10 getting another beautiful pick. That weapon actually works, but that does get picked off while trying to use the ink back.
Fantar managing to do a great job skirmishing here, getting some clutch picks or an assist. Chasing Jared, managing to get them in a challenging situation. That was some really good predictability in terms of their placement. And now Fantar setting up at the bottom of the ramp with a Booyah Bomb ready to go. So Gimmick Propaganda, they need to recenter themselves here. They need to function as a collective. It looks like there that Shadow had the VAC ready and still got taken out. So that was pretty clutch. So Vbucks here looking really strong. They have the zone, they have map control, they have a special ready still, and Gimmick Propaganda have to regroup again before they can consider retaking, so the timer's going to keep ticking.
Yeah, like, this is just such a psychological stress for both teams, because it's just so difficult to adapt to all of these playstyles. But really, 1600 Vbucks seems to be in such a good situation right now. They have a lot of control, and the timer is ticking down to full extent, and we just see that Gimmick Propaganda is struggling to keep up with this pace, and with this, 1600 Vbucks wins this match.
I'm really impressed with their performance there. Gimmick Propaganda have been really strong on this map this evening. For context, they've often used Shadow's Tentabrella once they've got control to allow all their frontliners to just basically rush enemy ramp and make retakes very challenging. But Vbucks managing to not only recover from that situation, but then hold incredibly well when Propaganda was setting up for a retake. So it's no wonder we might be seeing some slightly more conventional picks from Propaganda to stay in this winner's side, because this game, if Vbucks keep up this momentum and win this game, they are going to force a bracket reset, which is fantastic. I want to see more matches. I know, Spy, that you were feeling pretty knackered before this, but you might have to bear with us just a little bit longer to see this through to the end.
No, it's fine. I enjoy commentating, so I do this for a hobby, Chili, okay?
No, I always enjoy having you here with me, buddy, but I know that feeling when you're knackered as well, and trying to keep up with a game like Splatoon is hard, even if you're super alert. Splatoon 3 just feels quite fast at the moment, but I'm enjoying that. There's little flavors of the Splatoon 1 chaos that I used to enjoy when I was a pure run speed 10 to D-gen.
Oh no.
Yeah, although nothing, sadly, on that level of degeneracy anymore, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if we do ever get a Splatoon 4, which is likely in my opinion, then God, I don't even want to imagine how the gameplay is going to be in that game.
Me either. It depends. The direction is quite interesting, because I thought Splatoon 2 was a lot slower than 1, and I think 3 is sped up a bit, but is nowhere near sped up to the extent Splatoon 1 was. But a lot of that is dictated by kind of which kits are dominant and what are the specials for that game as well. Like Stingray in 2 was Nightmare Fuel. Please, Nintendo, please don't bring that back. I don't like that special. It makes me very sad. We're back on Haggle. I love Hagglefish. Has flanks, so you'll be happy with that. And I can't really predict the comps anymore, because I kind of thought Gimmick Propaganda's comps were quite locked in, but they've actually been very diverse over this last couple of sets.
Yeah, and also, Chili, you were talking about how Splatoon 2 felt slower than Splatoon 1. It might be because no one was able to move.
that could be a factor, yes.
I mean, did you see like these clips where the CJED was, or no, it was a Vita, I think. Like the Vita was just on Starfish main stage at the same position for the entire match. That may be because why you think that game felt slow.
That might be because I used to be a one-trick frontliner, and it was quite miserable being a frontliner in that game with the way specials worked. But I'm a tri-stringer degenerate this time. So this is match point for 1600 V-Bucks, but even if they win, that will not be the end. All that will mean is they've forced Gimmick Propaganda into a bracket reset. Gimmick Propaganda need to... Oh dear, we've had a DC. That's very sad. So, that's okay. That's early enough that we will be able to replay, I believe, under current rules. So hopefully that's an outlier. Fantar hasn't disconnected otherwise this tournament, and I would hate to see a game be lost to kind of a disconnect when the quality of each match has just been so entertaining. So hopefully we can get
Research online.
yeah.
Please. No, I don't even know if it was Nintendo's fault this time. So.
I mean, the internet is the internet. It happens.
Likely.
Thankfully, immediately rather than when we're deep into a game. So hopefully, isn't going to kind of impact the kind of spirit of the kind of competition tonight so far, and we will just have a very quick run back. I didn't get a chance to catch the comps. Did you see the comp spies that were rolling out?
I saw VDS, but there was probably a tent, but I didn't really pay attention. I was lost in my mind, to be honest. This is such an incident.
Okay, so that is that does mean we're gonna just unfortunately off the basis that we did have that disconnect. I believe that is going to put us in a 2-2 situation.
I mean, this is kind of sad, but I feel like Gimmick Propaganda is literally celebrating right now because they basically got a match for free. That's great for them, but it's a little sad, to be honest.
It's a shame, but it's understandable, kind of on the tournament rules. That is totally a valid kind of call for them to make. So that does mean that the stakes have just been raised substantially because we've gone from Vbucks having 2 opportunities to kind of cause the reset to now suddenly they are on they're basically on tournament life point as well, so there's massive stakes. I believe it, just for clarity, people do get a kind of set amount of resets per tournament, and unfortunately Vbucks have used all of their replays for this tournament, so that does it unfortunately does mean that we're going into a game 5, but I think we're still going to experience high level gameplay. There's still been thoroughly kind of engaging sets, and I still wouldn't really want to predict it. There might be a bit more pressure.
Wait, I'm confused.
Okay. Who? Okay. Phew. Okay. We are not 2-2.
Okay.
We're okay. False alarm. Apologies, folks. We're 2-1. So yeah,
we were literally trolled by our streamer.
Yeah, Brownie, we will never forgive you. We're going to server ban you after this for trolling us. So 2-1. So thankfully, a lot more kind of at stake now, and back to kind of what we were expecting. So just to kind of clarify, for Vbucks, if they win this, they will be forcing a bracket reset. If they lose this, they are still going to have one more game where they have a chance to bring this back. So all to play for still. Not quite as disheartening as we were thinking. So Vbucks opening strong. Gimmick Propaganda managing to get some strong counter picks though, but that timer is ticking and they need to respond quickly, which it looks like they're trying to, but you do not want to be trading right now if you're Gimmick Propaganda, not while Vbucks still have control of the zone.
I mean, it does seem like Gimmick Propaganda is in a little bit better situation now, considering how 1600 Vbucks has a lot of people dead on their side a few seconds ago. But I feel like it didn't really turn out to their advantage that much. It kind of backfired. So now the 1600 V-Bucks just kind of stays at this high amount of control that they really have, like, is really up to their advantage, and I feel like that's just kind of what they're going for. Especially because, like, Gimmick Propaganda has 2 people down again. It's really not a good start for them right now, especially because, you know, their stakes are really high, and especially that 10 umbrella is kind of in an odd situation because it really is aggressive, and it does seem to be kind of aggressive, but it's really being kind of backfired.
I mean, Vbucks have done so well to hold. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to. Well, they might be able to hold this time because every time it looks like Gimmick Propaganda are going to get their chance. Vbucks managed to get some picks, so suddenly here Vbucks are just riding this momentum, and it's going to come down to Shadow's ink vac here. Can that force a penalty? They are struggling. They're doing their utmost to get the cap here, and they are finally 1 minute and 55 seconds into the set are going to get that cap, and not just a cap but a wipeout. So suddenly Gimmick Propaganda looking a lot more in this game than they were. Vbucks going to have to recover from that really strong recovery, but again, they've got the timer down to 4. All they really need to do is stall and make this into more of a back and forth with penalties, and they will be able to clutch this game out. But we'll have to see, because this is looking ruthless right now.
Yeah, and talking about stalling, we just saw the ink bag coming up from Shadow. I feel like that's just a perfect special kind of stall and kind of cheese in this situation, while the other team is kind of focused on getting out of that area of effect that these specials might have. But, like, the timer is running down rapidly. Oh, but the crab gets a double kill. The crab gets a double kill. Folks, this is the official end of this push. They got a wipeout. What is this?
This is what I get for saying crab has kind of fallen off. I mean, Acer did a really good job there, and what was so important about that is Acer wasn't just kind of autopiloting independently. They saw that their teammates were starting to apply a bit of pressure on the 2 players there. They whipped out the crab tank to bring that offensive in Vbucks' favour, and it led to a wipeout and a very strong recap. So suddenly, only 23 seconds penalty here. Cappy doing a really nice flank. I think they managed to get Shadow there before the ink vac went off, and if they win this exchange, they might be able to prevent a cap. So that could be exactly what Vbucks need to end this game now. Are they going to be able to do it? They're losing control of mid slowly. They are going to get another penalty. So Propaganda staying in this, not making it easy for Vbucks, making them fight for every single point. But that was a really, really good flank by one of the sloshing machines for Vbucks there.
Yeah, like right now, 1600 Vbucks is back to square one. They have to set up another push that will maybe win this match completely. But right now, it just seems like they in a really tight situation right now. I mean, it is only 1 minute left, so they have to give it their all, especially because Gimmick Propaganda is slowly working their way towards the penalty. Speaking of which, they got the recap again, so it's basically just back and forth again. Acer is kind of stalling at this Booyah Bomb and also picking it off, even though it was only an assist. And that ink bag is annoying it to its death, even though it still survived. So
I'm so impressed with Acer there, because working around so many players on their ink where they have some form of invincibility or protection, and Acer managing to apply pressure, bob and weave around and retreat from that situation, like that required some really good movement and awareness on where all the hitboxes were, and they did very, very well. But this is where it gets very scary for Vbucks. You've got Shadow deep in enemy territory, using that tent umbrella to apply some pressure and displace people, and 12 seconds on the clock. They don't need to hold for much longer, they just need to whittle that penalty down. But Vbucks coming in, the special combos, the Booyah Bomb, they've stopped the zone, but they have not reclaimed it at all. They've lost a lot of map, and I could see Propaganda taking this with 2 down. In fact, I think they are going to, and it is going to go to a game 5.
Oh, I was just really gonna talk about how that Booyah Bomb at the end was kind of the triumph card, because there was just the foundation of how they're gonna keep that zone, because I don't think anybody really had that good special output, and that was so insane. It was such a close match. I feel like Propaganda just had to win this. I feel like they wouldn't be satisfied with how this would turn out, especially if they don't want a bracket reset, which would also set them back to square one.
It's yeah, that's really, really well done to recover from there. Master Genkai, game 5. We've had so many game 5s, and I'm all for it, man. Is it? Yeah, I mean, to be able to keep calm under that kind of pressure, Vbucks twice being in a position where they just nearly outright closed the game. It requires real confidence in your teammates, and it requires an ability to manage your nerves well, and they've absolutely done everything they can to kind of stay in this and bring it back. So now that we are genuinely at 2-2 and not the fake 2-2 that we announced earlier. So now there truly is everything to play for both teams. The stakes could not be higher. Whoever wins this game is going to have massive kind of momentum. I mean, if Gimmick Propaganda win this, they win the tournament outright, and that's it. That's victory achieved. But if 1600 Vbucks can pull out another win, which they have shown they've been able to do, then we have another bracket reset on our hands, and both these teams have to keep their stamina going. I would love to see it personally. I would love to see another set, but yeah, everything to play for.
Also, Medora got freaking flamed in the chat because he wrote like 600 Vbucks to do it for your favorite streamer, and Asa was like, "You're not my favorite streamer." That was savage. I mean, you can't back down from that.
I mean, the output, the betting output, if Vbucks take this, will be quite high because Propaganda have just had such a strong showing up to this point. I think Propaganda are probably the favourites to take this, but I'm just been so impressed with Vbucks' showing. I think they are, they've more than proven that they can go toe to toe, even against a pickup as strong as Gimmick Propaganda. So we're going to Umami Ruins. It's a brilliant map. It's a map with 2 zones, lots of opportunities to stall, to allow your teammates to kind of get back into the game. Quite hard to completely lock people out, so I'm expecting absolute carnage, but I am expecting a little bit of nerves on both sides as well. Jared goes back to the trusty dually squelchers, and we have Miku reverting to the ballpoint splatting as well as Q. So yeah, quite strong teams on both sides. Really looking forward to seeing how people do here.
Yeah, I feel like also the 10 Umbrella is just... We've seen such good 10 Umbrella gameplay today. It is absolutely flabbergasting how this weapon can have such an impact, even though it's barely viable.
Oh, massively so.
Flabbergasted is really...
Flabbergasted is a beautiful word. Gimmick Propaganda looking pretty strong on the opening here. They've won the majority of initial engagements. They have both zones on lock. Q doing a fantastic job of applying a bit of pressure while giving their teammates safe jumps. That being said, 2 have gone down. Vbucks theoretically have the opportunity to get some reclaiming here, but the map just seems so yellow still. Propaganda are just so good at retaining map control, even when they're at a numbers disadvantage. It's really quite impressive, and it is allowing them to pull ahead on zones here.
Yeah, especially like Cappy is doing a really good job at kind of getting some more space in there. Like kind of throwing off the tent, even though it uses its impact right now to its advantage, and getting like being one of the foundations to get a pick on the other team. Also, Shadow playing against that machine, getting a pick, but they're last, so now they don't really have that many chances, especially because they're being kind of pressured by that inkjet, and right now there's a person jumping in. It's the good old VDS, but they get picked off, unfortunately. I feel like right now Gimmick Propaganda doesn't really want to stay in this push, even though they're trying their hardest to contain that control that they have. I don't think they want to give that up. That is understandable.
Yeah, I think they're willing to play it patient, and with quite a strong opening and a decent point lead at the moment, that is a kind of decision they can afford to make. It's just quite confusing to watch sometimes, because from the perspective of kind of a numbers advantage and players in the game, Vbucks have probably had more picks this game, I would say. I think they have had more kills on average than Gimmick Propaganda have, but it is not showing in map control. I think players like Shadow just do such a good job of holding space until their teammates get back in, and it's making it really hard for Vbucks to whittle down a timer, especially when you've got 2 zones you've got to hold against a team of their caliber. They do seem like they're making some progress now. They're pushing slightly deeper into Gimmick Propaganda's side, and they do have zone control, so this could be their best chance yet to really get some points on the board. But my god, Gimmick Propaganda have made them work for every single point.
Oh my god. The tent got 2 really, really, really beautiful picks right now. That is just... It is insane how weapons like this can just play and not like have that many disadvantages, even though it has a beacon and like it has one of the worst specials in the game. Like Shadow is such a dedicated player, and it just makes me want to admire them. Honestly, it's just such a great experience. And we just see that Gimmick Propaganda has so much control. Their penalties work down, so now Shadow can kind of go into aggressive mode to their full extent. Like, they're kind of sharking behind this machine, and the machine is being pressured off by that Doom Squelcher.
And Jared lived down this part of the map last time when they absolutely annihilated the team they were against at the time, because they were getting away on the zip line and then they were coming back and finishing people off. That pick is going to be really important that Fantai got there. They've got 15 seconds. They absolutely need to stop the zone now. There's a minute 35 and they're going to get caught in the ink blast, unfortunately. They've got to be careful here. There's 3 down, but they don't have the zone. They're wiped out, and they're still holding the zone. This is what I mean. I don't know how they do it, but this is a huge penalty. This is Vbucks' best chance. They've got to get some map control now. Really good job of catching the jump-ins on the beacons, because thinking about it, the beacons have probably been a big reason that Propaganda have been able to get back into the fray so quickly. But 1 minute on the clock, and they have got to hold until 0. That is a massive uphill battle for Vbucks, but I do believe they can do it if they keep a level head and they keep up the pressure that they are now currently applying. But my gosh, what a game.
Yeah, honestly, it's just so insane how these teams fight, and I feel like right now it's just up for, like, it's all or nothing right now. It is insane. Like, I can't put it to words. Like, 1600 Vbucks has such a good chance to actually get this bracket reset now. Like,
they might do it.
What?
They've done it! They've done it! I can't believe they've done it! Oh my gosh, how do you go from struggling to get the zone all game to holding it for 60 points against a team that at the time are down to 1? Brilliant map awareness that Propaganda were using the beacons to try and get back in, and then it felt like they did aggress. Vbucks did aggress, but they didn't aggress enough to put themselves at a disadvantage. They focused more on deterring and keeping Gimmick Propaganda at bay, and we've got a bracket reset on our hands, Spy. I can't believe it.
I feel like this is the second Triton Cup in a row that I've been commentating where a bracket reset has happened. Like, when I was commentating with Weave, I think we also got a bracket reset, but like, I'm not sure right now. This is so insane how these teams just managed to get so many good, like, maps in a row, that their matches are so well defined, and this, God, these teams have so much potential. It's crazy. Really, I'm lost for words, Chili. Do you notice?
I am right there. I am right there with you, Spy, and I love the heart in the chat as well. Like, just the chat is just so wholesome. It is just all caps. Oh my god, yo, no, like just the spectator experience we really want you to have. So I'm so glad you're all enjoying this as much as we are. It is a pleasure to have you with us. Stay with us. We get a run back with these 2 incredible teams. Gimmick Propaganda, Q is whipping out the E-liter. Every time Q has had the E-liter out, people have suffered. So I'm expecting a world of pain for Vbucks this game, but let's see. Best of 5 one more time. Let's go.
I mean, I'm already expecting them to go into full force right now because they're aggressive that they got a bracket reset. I feel like Gimmick Propaganda is not having it at all.
They're not. They're absolutely not. And thank you so much, Beth, for the kind words about kind of commentary in chat. That means a lot. We're just really happy to be here. Vbucks managing to get the Max trying to jump out and swimming to their death. That was very, very sad. I don't know if that was like spectator jank or what, but yeah, Vbucks managing to take the lead, but messy as this map often is. Nowhere is safe from Q's E-liter, but Cappy using the terrain wonderfully to apply pressure, having to retreat now because of the ink vac which Shadows used so well, but Vbucks maintaining a numbers advantage, possibly going... No, Shadow managing to jump out, very, very well done, but Vbucks looking strong here, looking quite proud and confident about how they've managed that reset.
Happy constantly being in a tight situation where they're, oh my god, they're being picked up by that E-liter. Literally, Q is such a monster in this game. they're straight from hell. Honestly, they're doing such a good job with the E leader, getting full support from the downside and getting another pick. And there's the Inkjet, maybe also being picked off by Q, but Q is kind of being kind of retreated right now, so they have to retreat because there are just a lot of people there kind of sharking it out, or maybe just pressuring it out entirely. And we see Miku being really passive, but still maintaining its good strafe speed and also its good pain output, which is really important. We see Shadow again being really aggressive, and that is just really important for them right now because they don't have that many really aggressive options. I mean, we have the machine, which is really aggressive, and also the VDS. They're doing such a great job, and they also got the lead right now. Max is being really aggressive, but they actually retreat as well. Kind of sticking in for Q.
How do you get back in when you've got a Tentabrella, an Ink Vacuum, and then an E-liter staring at you while your two frontliners push through essentially a wall of invincibility? It is absolutely suffocating offensive power, and it looks like Gimmick Propaganda, despite having a bit of a wobbly start, are going to absolutely smash this game and not let the fact that they've been forced into a bracket reset deter them in any way. That was incredible weapon synergy.
Yeah, like I was just saying, like at the beginning, I feel like they're going into full force mode right now. They do not want to have, like, they don't want to have their chances taken away from them again. Like with this bracket reset, I feel like they just want to show that they have the potential to be this team that wins this Triton Cup, and they definitely have, you know, the experience for it, and they're just determined. So I really appreciate that. And also, Beth, thank you for your compliment. I couldn't really go into, you're full in your element.
It's even Majora's been really wholesome in chat tonight. What's going on?
Majora is still bullying me, but I actually did something for him, so now he loves me again. He said in chat he wants me to say Freppens, and I did. So I don't know if anyone noticed, but I did.
Well, it might depend on if Majora gets their payout. No, don't bully. The vibes are wholesome tonight. Behave yourself, Majora. Strong opening from Gimmick Propaganda. Not surprising. Q's E-liter living up to the kind of fear that I have experienced just watching them use it. But I don't think Vbucks will be deterred. Again, I talked about Vbucks' clutchness, and I think that is the second time they have won a match, but when they were on one penalty point. So Vbucks clearly not a team that cave into pressure, clearly not a team that get tilted very easily, and living up to their upgraded name. And they are taking us back to Mahi, which was carnage last time. I don't know what there is to say at this point. I'm looking forward to a rerun of this because it wasn't like it was a steamroll for them. It was a very, very intense game, and I think it could have gone either way.
Right now, I just feel like they want to stay with their really trustful comps. I mean, we saw Forge Pro once, but I feel like they just don't want to switch to that weapon again. I mean, if they do right now, then I'm gonna redeem my argument because that would be kind of a slap in the face for me, because I just stated that they wouldn't pick Forge Pro again. But just the diversity that I forgot the team name again. God, Chili just hit me. Gimmick Propaganda. Just the diversity Gimmick Propaganda has is just insane, and I feel like that is just what we kind of need more of in these tournaments. I know it's really hard to kind of pick a weapon that is actually not really good in the game right now, but if you have enough dedication, you can definitely do it. And we see the Zekov and Splatter scope again. That's cool.
It is really cool, and it's a weapon that has really proved its potential this tournament, even though a lot of people, I think, already had a favourable view on it. Don't know what happened. Again, this happened last time. Gimmick Propaganda just imploded at the start. The Vbucks seem to have an incredible rollout for this map. They just seem to have everything covered immediately. And just, whoa, Miku! Oh, Miku knows the camera's on them, and oh wow, that was a hell of an opening. That being said, the timer's been stopped somehow, and now 3 down. So Gimmick Propaganda, as quick as they're on the back foot, get a wipeout, and are suddenly completely in Vbucks' spawn. This is chaos.
Yeah, this is absolute chaos, especially, like, I just saw a few pics from, like, Q. Those angles are different. Like, Q is somewhere between a monster and something completely different. Maybe, like, a god or something. I have no idea.
Q is the closest we can get to a legal aimbot, honestly.
Also, Gimmick Propaganda just got a complete wipeout. We see Shadow being really aggressive again in their 10 shield, being just, you know, it's so interesting to watch that weapon because I've never really watched a 10 player. Again, a wipeout! This is the second wipeout in like 30 seconds. What is happening, Chili?
3 wipeouts in a minute and a quarter.
I can't follow along. It's just so much pressure. Like, there's so much stress going on.
I don't think I've seen so many wipeouts in a game of this high caliber before. You know, Vbucks, they're not a team that get wiped out for fun. They're not a team that rush in and panic. This is just incredible offensive gameplay from Gimmick Propaganda. Only Q left, though, so this is going to be their chance. They are going to get a recap. We've seen this scenario before where Gimmick Propaganda have a really good, you know, really good score on zones and a massive penalty, and yet Vbucks just come in and start chipping away and chipping away and chipping away and manage to regain that momentum. But Shadow has been living in Vbucks' spawn this game. Like they're playing it really aggressively, like for a weapon that I would consider to be not quite an anchor, but more like kind of midline anchor kind of hybrid. Like Shadow is so deep sometimes with the whole team, and it allows Jared to make crazy plays like this and just put a wave breaker by your spawn.
Yeah, and like honestly, I just like the synergy between Shadow and Jared. I feel like they have been playing very well together this entire vlog. Like, it's really insane what these teams can do. And right now it seems like 1600 Vbucks will just take that control back, but never mind, there are 3 people down. It's a 3v... Okay. I got interrupted again, Chili. That is mean. No, I'm just kidding. That was such an insane match, and it's like, wait, is it 2-0 for Gimmick Propaganda? It is, right?
It's 2-0. Yeah, the tides have changed really, really quickly, and it's a little bit of what I was observing earlier that was confusing me a little bit, and I think it just comes down to how aggressive Gimmick Propaganda sometimes play. But at one point there, 3 players were down on Gimmick Propaganda, and Vbucks needed that recap. They desperately needed that recap, but because of how Gimmick Propaganda play, they just couldn't get it. They desperately needed that penalty to stay in there, and I don't think it was out of passiveness or anything. I think it wasn't as safe as it maybe looked for us spectating, but we've seen that from Gimmick Propaganda time and time again, and it's what makes them so scary in this tournament. So suddenly we're in this quite scary position where midline anchor Cullen, okay, thank you. Suddenly we are in this position where Vbucks have a massive uphill battle. So they've gone, you know, they've come in incredibly strong. They've managed to force a bracket reset, but this is terrifying for Vbucks now. They need to win 3 games in a row against a team with Gimmick Propaganda's character. That is no easy feat.
Yeah, and I feel like just in general, team playing is very hard, especially at this high level gameplay. It's just insane that these teams can coordinate that well. Like, how do you even see some things? Like, I sometimes just want to see the eyes of a charger, but I can't. It just seems so unimaginable.
I think there's it's so hard to kind of pay attention to everything. I think speaking just from experience in Splatoon 1, when I was playing at a much higher level than I kind of play now, I think I got to a point where a lot of information was just assimilated and on autopilot. So there's lots of things I could assume, so I could focus on the aspects of the match that were a bit more unconventional. Like, I think you get to a point as a charger where you just know where people try to kind of approach from. You just know where people tend to peak or tend to think is safe, and you start kind of adapting to that over time. And Q, you saw Q there with a Golden X rank in their tag profile. That you know, Q is one of the best of the best. Yeah. So their brain probably contemplates like things on a level that we would be dribbling if we tried to kind of replicate. Yeah. I mean, generally just speaking, like, I've always been like a very aggressive player, so of course it's kind of mind-blowing to see the eyes of a charger, because I'm just busy fighting
at the front or like getting distraction. Like as a brush player, I do that, of course, and it's just insane to see how people play differently, like in all teams, just in general. And I think that's just really something that we should look out for more. And we see another Zeko Fin, but this time on the side of Gimmick Propaganda. So it's not an E-leader.
Yeah, Q I think uses every sniper going. I mean, we've seen them with the Squiffer a few times. Yeah, but I guess they don't want to whip out the Squiffer in the final, so understandably. Immediate picks coming out there for Gimmick Propaganda. Vbucks managing to get one back, but not quite enough, although they are responding well now. Fantar has Shadow trapped. Okay, so even though Gimmick Propaganda have first cap on zone, it was looking like Vbucks might be able to stop it, but Q there getting the clutchest kind of jump snipe and making things feel a lot scarier. So again, Gimmick Propaganda, they're looking so strong. It looks like they really want to close this out here and now.
Oh, I feel like
did they just jump to their own beacon
shot or something, but it unfortunately didn't work. Like I've seen these before where they just use the beacon, they just jump and they just get a pick through the wall. Like that,
see, that's the big brain thing I was thinking about, because in my head I'm just like, why did they just jump to their own beacon? And you immediately knew that was a flashy play attempt.
Yeah, like I've watched the Twitter.
I guess it's being able to use the jump from the beacon to get good fall-off damage, or to use the hitbox to get an aerial solo. I could see the merit in that actually as more than just a gimmick if you get really good at it. Constant back and forth as we tend to expect from Hagglefish, but currently in Gimmick Propaganda's favour. The sides of the map looking very yellow. Fantar having to jump out there. I think that was totally the right decision. Allows them to keep in it. Miku applying some really good pressure with a splatling, but Q there throwing out the in strikes, making sure that the map stays very yellow. And Vbucks just struggling so much to get control, despite being so good when it comes to actual skirmishing and fights.
Dude, Cappy has been in such a good situation this entire match, to be honest. They've always guaranteed to get a pick on someone that was just kind of trying to get in very aggressively, and I feel like that's just one of their really good foundations to set up a push. Like, we've seen this a lot in this tournament. And, oh my god, that burst bomb kill on Shadow, that was kind of satisfying, to be honest. Oh, but they got picked off by the good old Zeko Fin Charger. Like, he was such an insane player, that's really... It's so stupid, honestly, but it's so cool, honestly. And we see another Inkjet just flying off the map because their special just ran out, and the crab is being pressured by a lot of people, so they just kind of have to retreat in their ball vault. But they do take these chances, and Alex immediately punishes them.
Yeah, and this is scary because that was effectively a delayed wipe that Vbucks were on the receiving end of there. So Fantar managing to do well, apply some pressure, force what looks like a jump out from Shadow, although I'm not confident they're jump outs anymore. I think they just jump for teammates to protect them, which is not as consequential. So suddenly the aggression from Gimmick Propaganda is out in full force. Vbucks are on their last legs here. They absolutely need to win this game to stay in this tournament, but Gimmick Propaganda smelling blood, going for it, and Vbucks managing to keep their cool. Miku doing a beautiful job though with the Inkjet. Vbucks fighting for their tournament life here in this Grand Finals reset. I don't know what to predict anymore because I feel like Gimmick Propaganda have got this, but every time I think the game's over, it's not. So everything to play for. Oh,
there's some lag going on.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh
they got
no.
two disconnects. What the hell?
Okay, that is tragic. Good. That is absolute tragedy. That is not how you want to oh gosh, that's not how you want to see a tourney end.
No, that is so sad.
Nintendo said it is bedtime. Right, it is bedtime for EU players. It's midnight in my time zone as a UK folk, and what a tragedy.
No, that was so sad. But they did some drip picks, so I appreciate the drip picks.
They did. And I think, I think if we're being fair, I think Gimmick Propaganda, they had the momentum there. They were looking like they were definitely going to take that 3-0. But I think that is, that's a tragedy. That is never the way you want to go out. So yeah, I think, go on, Spy.
Yeah, I was thinking that was such a huge step up to the entire tournament, and it all came down to this. and then it just ends because of disconnect. Oh man, this is really sad now. I feel so bad.
Majora, my points were lost to Nintendo Switch offline. That is true, Majora. You can at least rest your head high knowing that it wasn't that your prediction was wrong. It's that the servers were wrong. But look, Vbucks, absolutely incredible gameplay. You know, absolutely incredible showing. You were thoroughly entertaining all tournament. You gave us an incredible show. You fought with absolute heart. Oh, Gimmick wants to replay, do they?
Huh?
Hold on. We can't be getting another plot twist. Are we actually getting another plot twist?
That would be insane. Like,
Brownie or Majora, are you able to confirm that?
I mean, Brownie is freaking out in the lobby right now.
Okay. You know what?
Yes.
The sportsmanship tonight is just so lovely. Because
these gentleman agreements, I love them.
I love this. I love this because you could just take it there.
Majora, stop complaining.
Right.
Stop complaining, dude.
Right, bet again if you dare, but Majora's very, very sad. Majora's points are in the gutter. I mean, look, massive respect, Gimmick. You're all incredible players, and I love that you want to win this, you know, in a full skirmish to the end, and not through kind of any unfortunate cheese. And obviously Vbucks, you know, you can never really count them out until they're out. they've proven that time and time again. So, okay, next plot twist of the evening. Couldn't write the script, so yeah, we're going back. We're going back to Hagglefish, and we're in the same situation. We are in a situation where Gimmick Propaganda are on tournament point. Vbucks still have that massive uphill battle to go, but they have been given a second wind by their opponents, which is just, yeah, the Splatoon community at its finest.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have left this stream not knowing that we've still got a match on our hands. So if they see the VOD, if they ever come back and see the VOD, yeah, they're going to see the next part. But yeah. Yeah, bonus game, Aqua. That's one way we can look at it. But yeah, what a tournament. What a tournament. And yeah, go on, Spine, go for it.
Like, as you said, it's just such a wholesome moment. And we really have to pay a lot of respects for Gimmick Propaganda, that they have this gentleman agreement and still want to kind of battle it out, and they want to go out in a fair and square kind of passion, and I really need to respect that, and I just need to admire their braveness as well, because I feel like if they didn't do that, they would have won immediately. Now there's a chance that they still might lose the tournament, and still knowing that risk, they still decided to do this rematch. And that is insanely brave, and I feel like more teams would have to be as brave as this one.
Well, you know what? We're all here because we thoroughly enjoyed the competitive Splatoon community, and we're all here because we, you know, enjoy seeing the game played at the highest level. But what is so important is to never lose that fun that makes this game so wonderful. Like just thoroughly enjoying this game and everything it offers. And Gimmick Propaganda, I think they've come into this tournament incredibly talented and wanting to play at a high level, but they also are all about fun with their weapons that they love. And you know, that decision they've made there really captures that spirit first and foremost above all else. So a massive thank you to them. They are unfortunately getting a bit wrecked for their sportsmanly agreement. Vbucks are going, yeah, thanks, but we're not going to go easy on you. And they have made a very strong opening. But here comes Shadow with the Inkvac set up for the retake, and we'll see if they can get a penalty.
Yeah, I feel like right now, like as you said, they're kind of getting wrecked. That's like now 1600 Vbucks is pumped up because they know they still have a chance in this, and with this knowledge and like the match from before, they have a lot of chances. We just gotta wipe out again. Like this team is all about its surprises. Like this is such an insane matching right now. They have such they're so talented.
Jared giving us the moves with these squid roll dances. I love it. But yeah, they really are. And I think one thing Vbucks have done consistently this tournament is they've adapted under immense pressure. teams at high level do adapt, that's nothing new, but I think to continue to adapt when on the back burner and against these incredible teams is like, it's not a trivial ask. It really takes lots of confidence, really good team communication, and a lot of emotional resilience as well, to be honest. That is one of the hardest things about competitive is keeping that emotional calm when you've got adrenaline coursing through your veins and when you want to win so bad. Vbucks fighting really hard here to try and get some control again, but Propaganda doing what they do where they start to get more and more of the map. Disgusting snipe by Q there, beautifully done. And it is looking here like Vbucks are getting forced further and further back.
Also, I just love how you said disgusting. No, but like, it's absolutely insane how good Q is with chargers and just like in general with backlines. Right now, Gimmick Propaganda has so much control, and they eventually got the lead. What just happened there? There are 3 people down like in several seconds. That is really insane. Even Vbucks has a lot of chances now again.
Maybe like the greatest fizzy bomb of all time or something. I'm not sure. I mean, like. I think we're getting really good kind of camera work from Brownie here, which allows us to get as close to kind of capturing all the action as possible, but it is so hard to capture everything at a game that runs this quickly at this level. Gimmick Propaganda managing to still ultimately hold the zone, getting lots of trades, but trades will do whilst they've got the advantage, and there's about 2 minutes on the clock, so they can afford to create a bit of a stalemate situation here. That bomb might have got anyone else, but is Miku on drop roller there?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of ball points are in drop roller because they have the inkjet.
Oh, it makes sense, so they can protect themselves from the recoil. Yeah, that makes total sense. And that was it in action there. There's evidence that it works, folks. 3 down, so Vbucks, if all goes well, under normal circumstances, they will get a recap here. Defensive ink strike coming out to stall for time. It worked for a little bit, but Vbucks are still going to hang in there in the way that we've seen them do time and time again.
Yeah, we just see Shadow being really kind of in this situation where they just have a lot of opportunities to push in, even though they're kind of being pressured out, especially by that inkjet. And the inkjet gets them really, really strong. And we see the ball point, they have drop roll, but they were still picked off, so they couldn't even counterattack. So it's not that reliable, but it's more reliable than not having drop roller. And the crab was going for that melee attack, but Max absolutely squid rolled out of that melee attack, and that was so funny, honestly.
I think you should get bonus points if you get like a dung beetle kill. It's so funny when people kill with the roll. Look at this though, Shadow sucking up all the ink in Vbucks' spawn, launching that ink vacuum, forcing them back in their own base, and with 20 seconds on the clock and the timer ticking down, Vbucks can't afford to be held back now. It is now or never. This will be their final desperation push. They get 2 down, but there's 4 seconds. They've got to stop the zone now. It's on 1, and it is too late. They were so close. I think the zone just went into a neutral state as the time hit 0. But Gimmick Propaganda asserting themselves despite allowing the replay and managing to get a fair 3-0. Not letting the DC and the internet dictate the win, but getting the win off kind of raw talent and raw teamwork. And that is the way we want to see it end. We want to see it end through a really intense game. So massive GGs for real this time. There's no more plot twist to come. Massive congratulations to Gimmick Propaganda, but Vbucks, you have been incredible opponents and should be really, really proud of yourselves. What would you like to say, Spy?
Like, as I said before in this tournament, I am absolutely lost for words. These teams have such incredible talents, and it was so fun to commentate with you, Chili. It's always a blast. And I'm excited to commentate a few, like tomorrow is a big day, a big commentating, and it's just a lot of fun. I'm really glad that I picked up this hobby, and I just got to meet so many new people, and it's just great to see what potential these teams have.
Oh, I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, you're commentating the Netherlands tournament tomorrow, is that right?
Yeah, that's.
Do you want to plug when that is, time zone wise, for people in the chat?
It is at 2 p.m. CEST, so it's Central European Summertime, and yeah, it's in 13 hours, like approximately 13 hours from now.
Oh, that's amazing. I'll try and pop in chat and say hello. But yeah, just to kind of echo, your sentiments, Spy. It's always a pleasure commentating with you. It's been a pleasure just being a part of the community this evening. I think the spirit in the chat has been amazing. It's been so wonderful kind of to have so many of you come out and join us. So thank you very, very much for sticking around for what has been just some incredibly high quality sets this evening. Yeah, I think that might be it. Where can we find you, Spy?
You could find me on Twitter at DrSpyLOL. I've said this multiple times, but I don't play League of Legends. I just thought I was funny, even though I'm not. Yeah, I just kind of often retweet Platoon stuff or any other things that I find interesting. Yeah, where can people find... Oh my god, I can't even speak anymore. Where can people find you, Chili?
People can find me on Twitter as well, chiliboy_splat. There's a slight typo there, Majora. It doesn't have an E in it. It's the same chiliboy as spelled on stream and as my Twitch name. So yeah, chiliboy_splat. I tend to kind of loiter and just kind of retweet memes or get in kind of meta discussions with people. But yeah, always hoping to kind of grow as the community and find more people to connect with. So yeah, do come out and do say hello. It's been, a pleasure kind of being a part of this. And a massive thank you to Brownie, our streamer, as well, even though they trolled us mercilessly when we thought people were being unsportsmanlike and claiming a game for a frame 1 DC. But Brownie, incredible streamer, really helped kind of keep a smooth flow of things this evening and also really help us from a, from a kind of camera perspective. Just being able to see all the action as best as possible, which is a really underrated skill. Thank you everyone for joining us. I think that will be it. This has been Dapple Productions with Triton Cup 55, and we will see you around. Take care.
See ya.